Hey guys, my name is Rebecca and welcome to the Patchwork Homestead. This is something that literally friends and family have been telling me to do for years. I never did it because I wanted to follow the rules, I wanted to do it the right way, and I wanted to be successful the first time that I did it. And so I never even started. And so this is me starting. Step one. Number two, I never found that niche because really I have had the benefit and the curse sometimes of being an ADHDer who literally hyper focuses on certain things, learns everything that she possibly can on certain things, and then I don't do them for a while, and then eventually I'll go back to them, but it's not something consistent, so I can't offer something consistently that I'm always doing because it's always something different. It's always something new. Always. And it's benefited me, it's benefited my family. I am a wife and a mama of 5 children. One of the things that's always difficult is trying to define what you are and who you are and what you stand for and what your thing is, what your, the basics of, when boiled down, what is important to you. And all of these different things that I've learned, all of these different things that I've gotten, I don't want to say really good at. I'm not a master of a lot of things, but I was a jack of all trades. I'm definitely there. But all of these things have kind of the underpinnings of this overall theme of I want to be a homesteader. My husband and I, since we were first married, have always had this dream, this eventual goal of we will have land, we will have properties, I will raise my own chickens for meat, we will have a cow, we will have a sheep, we will, all these things. And there was just always something. There were always too many questions. How do you get started? Where do you start? There was always another baby that I was having or nursing, or there were always different circumstances that we felt like, oh, right now wasn't the time to start. And so now we are 21 years into our marriage. Our oldest is, she's 17 and a half. I can't always bring myself to say 18. And our youngest is 6 and a half. And I've got a whole bunch of kids in the middle, and our life has changed so much in the last 20 years. But this one specific goal, this one specific heart cry has always been there. Right now, we don't live on a farm. We don't live on 100 acres. We don't live on even 5 or 2. We live in a suburb of a suburb of a suburb of a very large city in Texas. And we originally hailed from Buffalo, New York. A suburb of Buffalo, New York. And so quite the culture shock. I'll get into our reasons why and why we left and how we left and that whole story at some point. But right here, right now, I thought that life was going to look a lot different than it does currently. I thought we were going to have those things. I thought we were going to live on a farm. I thought we were going to have all of these things. And there's so many things that God teaches us in the interest. Our waiting is valuable. It can be valuable if we have the right attitude. And I will absolutely admit that my attitude sometimes sucks. Then it pours over into my relationships. It pours over into my attitude about the thing that's currently in front of me, what I'm doing that's right there in front of me, this thing that I should be intentional about, this thing, whatever it may be, whether it's parenting or using my hands and being able to do what I can do here. And there's definitely tension there. There's tension and there's a struggle between these two balances of being content where you are and being so grateful and being, just having a good attitude, and then just being so frustrated. And in trying to figure out how to do what we want to do here, there have been certain things that we've been able to do here where we are, and I always have those ideas, or we always have those great ideas when my heart and my mind are in the right place, when I'm not trying to force it, when I'm not trying to get what I want because that's what I want and that's how I'm gonna be happy, gosh darn it. You know, I don't wanna do that because I know that my peace is only gonna be found in Him and it's only gonna be found in His timing. If I'm trying to force something, it's just not gonna work. And so in this waiting area that we've been for what feels like forever, I can look back and I can see where He's taught us certain things in this waiting. I can see where my ADHD at certain points has been such a blessing because I've been able to learn certain things. I love canning, but I don't only can. And so this isn't gonna be an only about canning vlog. I love gardening, but even though it's Texas and we have a long growing season, and it could be growing all season long, it's not what I want to do all the time, and it's not what I think about all the time. I am so grateful for those that kind of came before me, whether it's people that blogged their journeys, whether it's people who vlogged their journeys, whether it's people who have shared with me along the way what they've learned and what they've done, not just the good things, the bad things too. The things that they did and how their attitude was in the beginning versus how they were transformed by their waiting or by their struggle or by their journey. And so I'm so grateful for other people's honesty. And so that's definitely one of the things that I'm gonna do. I wanna talk about all the things. While we're in this waiting period of we don't have what we want yet, the thing that's gonna make us happy, but what have I learned in the meantime? On here, we're gonna talk about canning. We're gonna talk about food preparation, food preservation. We're gonna talk about bulk buying. We're gonna talk about frugal living. We're gonna talk about whole foods. We're gonna talk about all of that kind of stuff that I've learned that's benefited my family. We're also probably gonna talk about some parenting stuff. We're gonna talk about, I don't know, how to build things out of just scrap. Because a vast majority of the garden space that I have, and we'll get into that because we, in being on the plot that we're on, it's a house that was built in like the early 60s, so it's kind of falling apart. So we got a really great deal on a very large house. We don't have a ton of money to be fixing it up all the time. As you can see, we we redid the kitchen, but we just weren't sure what we were gonna do with the ceiling, so it's still there. But as we've gone along and we have tried to make this home that isn't what we eventually want, our home, you still wanna live where you live. We've tried to do certain things to take advantage of the materials that we do have. We're gonna talk about frugal creativity on the homestead, even though it's not a homestead, but it's a homestead. It's our homestead right now. It's our right now homestead. We've been very creative with the things that we have utilized, the tools, the stuff that we have built our raised bed garden out of. We have a really weird, unique feature on our property. Again, we got it for a steal, and it used to have a swimming pool, it had a hot tub, and it also had, it used to be a fully fenced in, a fully enclosed tennis court. We took some of the fence down so that we could blend the backyard, but from like the grassy side to this ginormous thing of concrete, but that was like the only place that I could garden. So we've been gardening on a tennis court, and we're gonna talk about gardening. We're gonna talk about seed starting. We're gonna talk about where to buy seeds. We're gonna talk about just all the things. And then every so often I get a whim and I get really, really, really involved and really in depth with my Bible study. One of the things that I am very, very, very passionate about is biblical literacy, especially in women. We need to be able to know how to dig into the truth, how to be able to sink our teeth into, and I've always wanted a tattoo of a knife and a fork. It sounds bizarre. A knife and a fork on my little tiny ones on my forearms, because that's what I say. I want to encourage other women to pick up a knife and a fork and dig into the meat that is Scripture. It's just so rich and it can nourish us so well. And that's not always something that I'm passionate about. correction. I'm always passionate about it, but it's not always something that I want to talk about. Sometimes I just have quiet mornings where I have quiet personal study and devotion, and where I'm just reading, or maybe I'm writing a little bit, maybe I'm praying a little bit. My quiet time looks different in the morning or in the afternoon. Every day it just kind of looks a little bit different, but sometimes I get very, very involved in really studying and really sinking my teeth in, and I want to tell everybody, I want to talk about it. I've taught a couple of Bible study breakout Sunday school classes where I teach people how to study scripture, and just what I've learned from my own personal journey, and things that I've researched, and things that I've been exposed to, and that I've dug into. And so that's going to probably be some of the things that we're going to talk about on here as well. So I'm excited about whatever the heck this is going to end up being. I hope that you hang on and you enjoy the ride with me. I would pray, and I do so hope that this will be a community of grace givers, that we will give each other grace. There is so much meanness, mean-spiritedness, so many unkind words that are spoken from behind a screen and on a keyboard, or texted in comments, and so much criticism. And I will say, and I'm going to throw it out there somewhere in probably most videos, I reserve the right to be a little bit wrong. There may be something that I say about how I make yogurt, and I've been making it for 16, 17 years. You may make it differently, or you may have seen something else different, or you may see a different method that you think is better or something. That's great. That's wonderful. I'm going to share my way. I'm going to share a conglomeration of things that I've learned up to this point. And I would hope and pray that you would be gentle, that you would be kind, and that you would be grace-giving. So thank you so much for hanging with me for a little while today for this explanation. I look forward to pumping out a whole bunch of content. Not really sure what's going to come out of me on any given day. Be excited with me. I'm going to leave right now. I'm going to go and pick up my groceries, and I look forward to talking to you the next one. Until then, see you later.